Ernie Beltz Jr. I'm from Austin, Texas, born and raised. Grew up in a big family in Austin, a very tight-knit family. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, brother and sister, cousins, everyone lived within about 30 miles of each other. So family is extremely important to me and is who I am. That's everything I know, everything I do to make them happy and to do something better every day than I did the day before. I served in the United States Marine Corps. I joined shortly after September 11th. I served for 4 years, and after returning from the Marine Corps, I opened a small business in Austin, an insurance agency. Over 2 years, I expanded to Nevada and Utah. Great experience opening a business, but I was missing something. I missed the feeling of public service when I woke up in the morning, going to work, knowing that what I was doing was contributing to something greater than myself. So I decided to go back into public service and went to work for the U.S. Department of Treasury in Washington, D.C. The last 2 years that I was with the Department of Treasury, I was responsible for managing all the veteran employment programs across the agency, consisting of 13 bureaus, over 100,000 employees, and 700 offices across the country. Being a veteran, being able to help veterans and their families, was one of the most amazing jobs that I could have ever had. I resigned from that job in December for 3 reasons. The icing on the cake to me was being a federal employee and watching wasteful spending across so many federal agencies. I saw it firsthand. So I said I can either sit here, love my job, and be a part of the problem, or I can walk away and do the right thing. So I left. Secondly, I was tired of seeing small businesses suffer. I was tired of seeing our military not have the tools and resources they need. And then ultimately, I wanted to make sure that my generation had a voice in our government and in Washington. I think that it's time that my generation stands up, and I'm ready to represent them and represent our community in District 25 to get our country and our community back on track. You know, first, by starting, we need to repeal Obamacare. That kind of falls right in line with the last question. But healthcare is something that everyone needs. We need to open up the borders across state lines, let healthcare companies sell, and let the free market do what it does best. Let prices come down naturally based on where someone wants to buy their insurance. We can't force someone to do something that they don't want to do. Healthcare is extremely important. I've met with healthcare executives from nonprofit and for-profit hospitals across Central Texas to get ideas, to learn what needs to be done, learn from community healthcare centers that are doing things without taking one dime from the government. We need to take those models and help expand them across the country so that government isn't spending too much money on healthcare. And that way the Americans have the choices that they want. They can choose from the healthcare from any state they choose. They can choose the doctor that they want, and they can get the best health care possible. That sums it up for me. Thank you. I think with so many other things that we do internationally is we need to keep everything within our own borders. We need to be controlling our own money. We need to be controlling our own resources, controlling our own finances. We need to be, like Diane said, be a model. We need to be doing it ourselves. We need to be out of these international organizations that are telling us what to do. In so many different ways. There are organizations telling communities and states what they need to do environmentally. I'm deviating a little bit, but I think this question is bigger than just the IMF. There's a lot of organizations internationally that we need to not be a part of or be the leader of so that we can help other countries get back on track. But first we need to get ourselves in order. We need to get our financial house in order through spending in government, wasteful spending, overspending, get our tax system under control, and fund our government before we can look at anything else. Thank you. We need to do a lot of things with Social Security. One of the things that I personally do, I'm young, I invest my own money in my own retirement. I'm not going to wait and rely on it, but that's my generation's problem. We need to deal with that. For current retirees and those approaching retirement age, we don't need to make changes. We need to make sure that the system works, because you paid into the system. It's something that is your money that you need to have when you retire. So we need to reform the system. We need to fix the system. We need to get the people involved so we can, again, make choices, and it's not the government telling us how it's going to work, why it's going to work, and why it works for you. But it needs to be more involved with everyone, with all of us as voters within our communities, to ensure that the reforms that take place, one, don't cost the government more money. It's our money going in, our personal money going into it. But it's an effective program that works long term. You know, there's a quote that I like to share. President Reagan said that freedom's never more than one generation away from extinction, and that we have to fight for it to preserve it. That's why I'm here. I don't have kids yet, but when I do, I want to make sure that our country is as great then as I had the opportunity to grow up in a great country. I'm here to fight not only for my kids, but for each one of you in this room, to make sure that government doesn't overstep. We take care of our military, we get our country back on track, we hold our elected leaders accountable. I'm not looking for a new career. I want to serve. Public service is something that's part of who I am, and I want to leave our country better than when I got here. We need to get government out of the way of small business. We need to reduce spending and get rid of waste in government, and we need to make sure that our military has the tools and resources that they need to be successful, and take care of our veterans and their families when they come home. Ultimately, it's getting our country back on track and being a public servant. Thank you.